I am live. We are ready for Baritone Ukulele today. I don't know what lesson this is, but it's about we're going to learn how to play all through the night. And you should go to jollyrogerukulele.com so that you can learn, get all the sheet music and all the tabs, all this nonsense that we talk about. And come join us and rock out. As far as I am aware, this is the only daily baritone ukulele class happening on the planet. And so you might as well come hang out with us and learn to play. It's awesome. It's exactly 2 o'clock, so we won't actually start the lesson for 5 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm posting the link on the website so people will know to come here. And then we will spend 4 minutes watching me eat almonds while we wait for everybody to get in. We'll start at 5 after. So if you're watching the video, just fast forward 5 minutes and you will be able to join us without sitting around waiting. And there's that. Valerie's in already. Made it through. Last one for today. That's enough today, right, Valerie? My friend Valerie has been logging a lot of hours with me, and she has probably reached the point where she can no longer stand listening to me. So I'm delighted that you've taken. This has been a pretty serious undertaking for you, hasn't it, Valerie? I mean, I'm delighted you're doing it, but it seems like a bit much in my mind. Feels like a awful lot of music in a short amount of time. Let's see. I gotta make sure my thingamabopper is working. All right. Take off last night's link to the broken chat room. Isn't that weird? Last night things were going fine. And then all of a sudden the chat room just stopped working. And then today it didn't work at all. And then ever since then it's working fine. And I literally have done nothing else different than what I do every single day. It's crazy. I don't know. Still incredible that this thing works at all. Let's see. Jack made it in. Hey, Jack. Aloha. Ready for baritone? Vic says they sound good. Vic's another one who's spending way too many hours on this. You guys will get good. All right. Isn't it nice? Doesn't it sound beautiful? Beautiful. This baritone that I bought pretty early on when I was playing ukulele. I think I might have been teaching at that point, but it's been a while. It was in Arvada Pick and Parlor, which is one of our. We have 2 good music stores in town. Even still, they've managed to make it so far. Can't imagine it's going to be that much longer, but we've got several really horrible music stores in town, and then we have Folklore Center, which is lovely. It's like you're walking back into 1940 to buy an instrument, and then Pick and Parlor is a sort of a more folksy kind of place. They do a lot with mandolins and like bluegrass guitars and this kind of stuff. And I walked in there one day, and this was sitting there, and I was like, "Wow, that is really pretty." I'm not even positive I knew at the time it was a baritone ukulele, but I'm like, I gotta have it. It's just beautiful, and it's got this real dark wood. I'm not even 100% positive what the wood is, but in the 70s, this would have just been a factory, throw it together type thing. But the wood is really, really nice. And at the time, they were competing against Japanese instruments, and this is an Italian instrument, echo. Just exactly. It just says Italian all over it. But it's been a delightful instrument. I don't take very good care of it, but I absolutely love it. I hope that it just magically takes care of itself. Carol mentions, and I think it's important when you find out that baritone's a thing, you're automatically making your life harder in the sense that this used to be a G, or there's a really one that's irritating. This used to be a C, now it's a G, right? This used to be a G, now it's a D. So you're making your life harder in terms of what your brain has to do. Your brain does get used to it, and your brain gets where like, yeah, well, I'm playing baritone right now. Um, but in terms of just your overall sonic storehouse of power. Um, this really does add something, doesn't it? It really makes it beautiful. Not that there's anything wrong with the other instruments, but this one just the sense of, hey, this is home, this is easy, this is not going to ruin my day, and I'm still going to get a tremendous amount of horsepower out of how pretty the sound music is and stuff. It's really nice, and I do think one of these instruments that has been really overlooked is sort of that kid's instrument that you teach to play guitar. Well, no guitar teachers do that anymore. They all start kids on guitars, and that's why they quit, of course. But this is absolutely, in so many ways, such a great instrument. And it's too bad more people don't get that. I mean, you guys get it, so you know. Hey, Megalina, welcome in. Terry's in for some more. Diane is here. Nita, Cindy for sure is logged in. Diane is, she says, I need just this much more time and then I'll have this thing down. So, yeah, Diane's a pretty good. Well, all you guys, right? All you guys are killing it musically. So, um, all right. So today we're going to go through all through the night. Yesterday, remember, we were playing a cucaracha, trying to get our plucking to sound staccato. Um, dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Right? So we were loosening up on this to try to get the music to stop. And then we were plucking this in such a way as to make it sound very staccato and very short in each of our notes. What we were working on today, same thing over here, completely different effect we're going after. Okay, so I want to run through the chords, make sure we're comfy with the chords. Chords are not going to be your problem on this one, but getting the technique, getting the two techniques, and then adding in a third idea, which is adding in some decoration, which I actually spell it out for you guys on this one. So if you were in the ukulele class, you may cheat and use this one. But what we want to do is go through the chords. Okay, so first one's the D chord. Remember, index up on the top, index on the third string, second fret, middle on the first string, second fret, ring finger out here, third fret, second string. Sleep, my child, and then you're going to go to the E chord, index on third string, first fret, middle finger, top string, second fret, peace, it's weird because we very rarely go from D to E. They don't really go together, but in this song they'll work out just fine. Sleep, my child, in peace. Go to your A chord, index finger on the top string, middle finger on the third string, ring finger on the second string. Everybody in the second fret. Ten the. Now go to your G chord. All. Go back to your A chord. Through. And then to wrap up on the D chord. Night. Now remember, there's 4 beats in that measure, so don't stop. Don't just strum once and then stop. You've got to strum all 4 beats when there's a whole note. All through the night, 2, 3, 4. As a ukulele player of any ilk, you're usually going to be the drummer as well, and you've got to talk yourself into keeping the beat steady. So if I go, sleep, my child, in peace, attend thee all through the night, and then I don't do anything, nobody knows when it's time to come back in, and nor do you as the singer. But if you add those 4 beats in, sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4, guardian angels, God will send thee. That's why you keep strumming, you keep your beat consistent and steady. You make sure you're strumming every single beat in whatever way you're strumming. Sometimes you're plucking, sometimes you're arpeggiating, sometimes you're doing lots of different things with your right hand, but keep the beat steady and make sure you don't just give up because it's a half or a whole note here. All through the night, guardian angels, maybe you come in. You're also the drummer when you are a ukulele player, and so you want to make sure to keep that beat steady. Okay, measures 5 through 8 are the same. Let's play those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Now, what measure? So measure 1 is identical in every way except the lyrics. 1 through 4 is identical to 5 through 8. So once you learn 1 through 4, you've also learned 5 through 8. Next thing, measure 9. Okay, go grab your G chord. Some the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale. Here's where the hard part is. Go to your D chord. In, back to G, slumbers, back to D, sleep, and then to A, in. Notice you have a fermata above that last note in measure 12. That's the little eyeball looking thing. And that means hold this note for a while. If you're playing solo, you get to pick how long it is. I get to pick it because I'm the conductor right now, right? Sleeping in my love. Okay, and that's how we know. We just give you a little head bob. That's when it's time to play. And if you're playing in a small group, that's how you do it as well. Just give everybody a little head bob right before you start your strumming. And you see professionals do that all the time when you get to this moment like that, and they're all looking at whoever's the leader. He gets to decide. He or she gets to decide when that moment happens. And then last 4 measures are the same as the first 1 measures. In my loving vigil keeping all through the night. 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go back. You're supposed to play this song 3 times. I think twice through will be plenty. Okay, let's play it 2 times through, just so we can practice using the repeat. Let me get my page changing pedal working properly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. Let it ring out and go. In my loving vigil keeping all through the 1, 2, 3, 4. While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night. While my weary world is sleeping all through the night. O'er thy spirit gently stealing, visions of delight revealing. Let it ring and go. Is a pure and holy feeling all through. Finish up the night. Bar on 7, pinky on 10. You got your nice D chord at the end there. Okay. Now, Sheryl Crow did a version of this. If you've never heard the song, Sheryl Crow's pretty famous. You should know who she is. She's She's as legit as they come. And she did a really, really lovely version of this where it's very, very soft and pretty and beautiful, and that's kind of what we're going for. Let's play the melody. Nothing too exciting here in the melody. We are going to go up to 7 at one point. Outside of that, that's going to be the hardest thing, and probably you'll be wanting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to give you too much more information than that. Just know you're going to hit that note right there at some point. Start with your ring finger on 3, mostly in first position here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 'Go. Let's go play it one more time from the top. 1, 2, ready, play. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 'Kay, beautiful, beautiful. Really nice melody, don't you think? It really feels lullaby-esque, and yet seems to be a little bit more complex than that, and just really not terribly hard to play. Everything basically falls into exactly what you want it to be. Notice measure 1 through 4 are identical to measures 9 through 12, and which are identical to the last 4 measures. And so, um, I'm sorry, 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and then 13 through 16. Those are all identical, and so you only need to learn 1 through 4, and then you have 3/4 of the song done. Let's see. Cindy asks, G in measures 9 through 11 sounds kind of boring. Anything we can use? Yeah. So, well, that's fascinating you ask. Okay. So if you come through here, soft and drowsy hours are creeping in, and veil in slumber sleeping. Okay. It's kind of boring, right? And that's why we want to create some sort of different texture in there. One, singing it is, mm, if you're singing it and you want to create better texture through there, change up this that you're doing. So if you come in, let me start on measure 5. Let me give you the example, then we can try it together. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night. 2, 3, 4. Soft the drowsy. It feels very boring because you're going to go like this for a while. But if you changed this up to something different, and it doesn't matter what it is, you could go with just about anything and figure this out. Um, uh, all through the night, 2, 3, 4. Soft, the drowsy hours are creeping ill, and veil in slumber sleeping. So all I did was change this, and all of a sudden it seems a little more interesting. The other thing I can do, of course, always is think about 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, in which would be all through the night, 2, drowsy hours. Whoops, let me change the chord. Soft, the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. Okay, so there's another way to get it, to give yourself a little bit more challenging thing to do. But usually, when you have a boring section of music, not that that's boring, but the chord stays the same. Dun 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 dun. The melody's fine, but the chord is blom 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 blom. You might think about bum 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 or ba da 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 ba da, and then um, uh, any other chords in that section. Could we add in a chord? So the next thing Cindy's asking is, what about chord substitution? Can you take this chord and jazz it up a little bit, maybe add in a second chord? And that's the beauty of noodling. Okay, so if I come in and I say, all right, I'm going to change the chord. Um, all through the night. What about a G major 7? Soft, the drowsy hours are creeping hill and vale in slumber sleep. I might do it instead of a D chord. I'm going to use this be A minor 7th, I think. Is that what that is? Yeah, it's probably, yeah, I think it's A minor 7th. Uh, turn it into jazz chords. Probably doesn't fit the feeling of the song, but I could try it. The other one I can try would be to do some substitutions at every other chord. So soft the, and my note is a G, so I might try switching to C. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. Okay, turns it into a completely different song if you start doing that type of chord substitution. When you do that, you should know you're heading down a path of crazy, and you could end up creating a whole new song doing something like that. I don't necessarily, I would recommend it as a solo piece, like, hey, I'm going to take Stop the Drowsy Hours, Stop the Drowsy, and change it to Stop the Drowsy Hours. Yeah, then I've got a completely new song. If I try to maybe substituting a D in there, Stop the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping, and then come back to it. So mess around, doodle it, noodle with that. Try different chords. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you get lucky, but there's no rule about it. There's no like, here's, if it's this, then this type of thing. You're going to mess around with it and try different things. I would recommend usually not to mess with that sort of thing on an old fashioned song like this. But on a newer song, for sure, I'm always going in going, I'm going to add in a chord. I'm taking that one out. This doesn't sound right. I'm going to add in a different one here. And when I decide to do that, there's a lot of just poking around. Well, if I try this, did I try this chord? That sounds like that's going to be a stretch. If I tried a G and I tried a G major, that sounded pretty good. What about a G7? Soft the drowsy hours. Doesn't work. Okay. What about a D minor? A minor for you. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slum. That might work. Okay. But the only way to do that is to sort of poke around with it. And boy, I sure like a baritone circle of fifths. I haven't sent that out to Cindy yet. She's getting rambunctious. Um, when you're doing chord substitution, sometimes the circle of fifths helps. Sometimes it does not, because sometimes you're just poking around to try to find something that sounds cool. And so I like your idea, Cindy. Probably maybe not the moment to do that. What I would rather you do is do what I'm about to show you, which is just turn this hand into a smarter implement to attack that section of the song. So since we played the melody through a couple of times, let's go through and talk the tough uke. Okay. Now, normally I give you sleep, my child, and peace 10, D. So you're doing all thumbs down. Normally I do that. That's not an unimportant way to play it. Very important to be. I mean, that's 80% of what I do is just thumb down. Where things change here, though, is I've given you the opportunity to get better at plucking, okay? And you want to be specific. So you grab your D chord. First two notes are 2 and 3. You're only going to pluck these two. Then you got 2, 2. So I probably just dragged my ring finger back to get the 2, 2. And then I got zeros. D chord again. Now I've got 1, 0, 0. So I'm just sliding my 1 here. And now I'm going to use these 3 fingers, thumb, index, and middle. Add your ring finger to get the 1 and 3. Use 2 fingers to get 2, 2. Hit that 2 with your thumb. 2 opens, 2 2s, and 2 3. And then you've got some decorative notes here. And if you were here earlier for the ukulele class, I didn't give them those decorative notes. They had to figure them out. I gave you guys them. Okay. Measures 5 through 8 are exactly the same. Let's play that part. 1, 2, 3, 4. The big issue with my addition here on those measures 4 and 8, 2, 3, 2, it's only decorative to get you to not come in early. If you have a whole note, tablature players, we are notorious for coming in early. So we want to just put in some quarter notes in there so that you play those while you're waiting for your opportunity to start the next section. And okay, there's that. As long as you're holding the chord, you can literally play any string. All through the night. That sounds fine no matter what string you hit. And then you go on to the next section. Now, here's where I think Cindy's idea is, hey, this section is a little boring. What do I got to do to make this sound more interesting? Well, I think the way to do it is if you played this sections 1 through 4 and then 5 through 8, plucking it. Now let's switch to thumb down, and then let's really make sure we emphasize the melody note and bring it up as much excitement as we can. So starting at measure 9, you got slide up, slide down, back to the 3s. Okay, and all of those sound really lovely because you've now changed the texture of the song that you're working on. By the way, there's a 0 on the top of the A chord in measure 12 that you don't need. It should just be 2 2 2 instead of 2 2 2 0. And there's that. Okay. So my idea is not really to change the chord, but to really emphasize the melody coming in through there. That's really what I want to do. Okay. Michelin asks, is there any reason we wouldn't play tough uke D chord sections with index and middle finger? No, absolutely not. It makes perfect sense here, right? Normally, when you're first starting, I say, when we do a chord, D chord, I want you to do the full D chord because you're learning to get your hands where they know that feeling. But now you've been playing a while, sure, just if it's 3 and 2, just play those two guys, right? Your ukulele will ring sympathetically. Now this string here is going to ring with the wrong vibration, but you probably aren't going to notice it overly. So you would not necessarily play the full chord, just play index and middle. That's what she's asking there. And yeah, and so absolutely, when I memorized this back in the day, that is how I played it. was with index and middle. And now when I teach people, I don't necessarily like them to do that because I think that you're jipping yourself of an opportunity to have to get your full D chord on. But this is legitimate. And when you watch me play it, that's exactly how I do it. Even though it's not necessarily what I would rather you do. I'd rather you'd grab the full chord. Okay, so both of those were sweet. Yeah, feels a little smoother that way. I think it was yeah, right. Yeah, so it feels smoother. It works. It's absolutely fine. If it goes better for you, do it that way. Just know, as the teacher in me, I'm supposed to be like, well, I'd rather you do that the other way, but you can do it that way. What sounds the best is fine. Okay, you're gonna be doing lots of D chords in your life, so don't worry about getting every single time negative one. That's it. Let's talk. Let's play it. Okay. From the top, nice and slow, play it through twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. 2, 3, 2. Guardian angel, God will send thee all through the night. Now switch to your strumming. Softly drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumbers sweeping. Back to plucking. In my loving vigil keeping all through the night. Back to the top. While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night. While the weary world is sleeping all through the night. Strum. Oh, thy spirit gently stealing visions of delight revealing. Let that ring out and then go. Breathe the pure and holy feeling all through the second ending. 9, 2, 3, 2. Bar on 10, or bar on 7, pinky on 10, little strum. Okay. If the baby's not asleep by then, you need to work on playing some more. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful tune. So lots of different, again, lots of different ways to approach something. We're really working on, the real skill set I want you to have is plucking where everything feels connected, right? Instead of what we did yesterday with cucaracha where it's disconnected. That was the La Cucaracha way. This way, okay, and so you get with a much more pretty, same technique, but much prettier in terms of connected notes that we would want on a lullaby type song rather than cucaracha, which is the opposite of a lullaby song. And using being smart about you as a musician. What can I do here? And it's fascinating playing this. I played it with the ukulele players earlier today because we've got these nice long metal strings that are going to reverberate for a while. You can really play that to your advantage on something like this, especially even in that section 9, 10, 11, where Cindy's thinking this feels kind of boring. If you really make it the melody ring out, this string has never stopped ringing the whole entire time. It just keeps filling that void with something, these really nice, beautiful, resonating sound, and it sounds pretty. Um, and so we're working. The takeaway here is one, beautiful, soft, connected plucking, and then using something different in measures 9 through 12 to jazz the thing up, to make it sound different than the rest of it. And Cindy's taking our screwdriver to it to really look at, hey, can we change the chords? Can we change can we turn it into this, that, or the other thing? Which you can try and see if you can find something that really works for you. You may end up changing the melody by changing the chords, or can you just augment the chords a little bit, turning them into major sevenths instead of majors, regular majors, that type of stuff. And then, but what my suggestion is, hey, just use your right hand to your advantage. Play what's written, but just use that different um, texture to the song to create something special there through that middle. All right, that's what I know. That's what I know about All Through the Night. Play it; it's a good song. This week, let me scroll down to our list. Tomorrow is Home on the Range. Again, we'll be working on making that soft and smooth and beautiful. And I haven't gotten you your G arpeggio yet. I like I mentioned yesterday, it takes a little bit of work to get those converted properly, and so I'll get that to you hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday morning at 5 minutes before class, but I'll get it to you, and you'll have that. And again, we'll be doing more picking on that. Home on the Ranges, we'll probably play that mostly with our thumbs. But any event, you have some lovely music this week. I like every single song that we've played so far, and feel free to pull out Home on the Range and see if you can get that to working for you. It's again not a particularly challenging song in the sense of the chords, but to get it to count correctly and where it sounds like the song that you know in your head, um, we want to make that patience in playing, I think, is the message that we'll get tomorrow. So that's it. That's all I know. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be safe, do good, practice a little, right? And keep showing up. I talked to the advanced group on ukulele about just showing up. That's the this seems like nothing, doesn't it? And now that you know how to play, you're like, ah, well, I don't know if I need to show up or not. What I know for sure is when you stop showing up is pretty soon, it's not very long before you are not playing at all. And so this business of just dragging your butt to lesson or showing up and all that, that's going to make, there's nothing you can do that's going to do you more good than playing with other people. And right now, I'm the other people that you get to play with. But over time, if you think, oh, I know how to do this, I don't need to show up anymore, you will end up quitting. And I've talked to, I do not know how many students about that. So, just make it part of your program. If it's only once a week, it's only once a week, or if it's every day, it's every day. But make sure that you have some plan in place where you keep getting in front of other people, no matter what level you're playing at, because that's the only way you're going to continue to progress and find meaning in this. Because at some point, you will know everything that you need to know, and then it's like, well, no, I'm not have anything else to learn. What should I do? And with me, sometimes I go learn a different instrument, but sometimes I just got to drag my butt over to rehearsal and meet with some other people and learn new things. Because weird stuff comes at you when you're at a rehearsal, like today. So there you go. And I do have a circle of fifths for baritone, you guys. And if you want it, send me an email. I think Cindy probably already sent me an email. I forgot to send it to her, but I do have one that I can send to you for those of you guys who know what it is. We will have a specific discussion about the ukulele circle of fifths at some point, but it'll be a little further down the road. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I will see you guys later. Um, Diane's taking tomorrow off. What the heck, Diane? You've been every day forever. All right, I'll give you one day off. That's it though. Vic, good to see you. Cindy, I'll see you tomorrow. Michelina, thanks so much. See you tomorrow. See you everybody tomorrow. Terry, uh, yeah, we're doing good stuff here, Terry. We're gonna change the world one baritone at a time. Carol, good to see you. Cindy, please, please. Great class, you bet, Cindy. Uh, I want to hear your revised version of all through the night when you're all done with it, Cindy. It should be fun. All right, guys, have a great day. Pulling the plug. Be good.